Maybe you are stuck with your track, you're feeling like you're in a rut, you can add whatever you want and it doesn't really get better. Believe me, I've been in the same spot like a week ago and I did something to my track which really saved my whole arrangement, and I want to show you in this video how you can do it as well. So I experienced this problem with this particular track I'm working on right now, which you might have heard through my 5K live stream. And to be honest, it isn't very good, or it wasn't very good. And now I brought it to a new and way better place. By just doing a few simple hacks, which I want to show you. So what I did with this track is something I usually don't do, which brought me into this position, and I believe it will bring a lot of you guys into the same position. I already mentioned this in a few videos so far, but usually I start a track by doing a huge brainstorm so that I have a lot of options of leads, pads, effects to choose before I go into arranging them. And here I started a little bit different because I was trying stuff for tutorials and somehow I just generated a track over the time and I was writing it from left to right. So basically I was starting somewhere and then I moved on section by section and I started adding elements. And in the end, I ended up with a track which wasn't good, but which was also hard to fix. And what I believe is core of this issue is if you skip the kind of brainstorm initial part in creating your track, then you end up with a lot of elements which are not good enough, but they are already in your track and they're kind of like limiting the rhythms, the melodies, and the timbres and everything else you can choose. And also you end up with arrangements which, for example, have maybe like a low energy here, then a high energy here, and then some kind of like medium energy here, and then I get to another medium energy, and then I go to low energy and high energy, just like as an example. And the problem with that is that it's not so easy kind of like to see where you should place the stuff, and then you're trying to repair things and you're adding more elements and it gets just like a huge mess, the whole track. Solution is actually pretty simple, but it's also a solution which sounds very horrible in the beginning, but believe me, it's the best choice you can do. I hope you already subscribed to this channel and have clicked the bell icon, because if not, then you will miss out all those cool videos which are coming here. There will be coming much more about arrangement, leads, bass, drums, everything actually about Sessions production. And if you want to be part of this and if you want to kind of like, and if you want to get all those cool videos and watch them and improve your music, then all you need to do is to click that subscribe button and the bell icon, and there you go. I got a great tip from Boris Brecher, the minimal techno artist. So when he takes too long to finish a track, like the core idea, the core elements, he just deletes the whole track. But I wouldn't go so far. I would just delete the arrangement as said. But before we do that, there's something you can do which is very helpful, so that you don't need to start from scratch and it sounds less horrible. So we just go into the track, and usually the track is organized in like 16 bars blocks. So every 16 bars, something new happens in your track. And you just select this. So for example, you could loop this here. And then you go here and to create, consolidate time to new scene. And what happens, Ableton is consolidating everything which is in here and places it as little clips over here. And that's pretty cool, because once you have done this with your whole track, then you can lay out it like this here. So for example, I have the whole track. I could play it now by clicking here, 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 and here, and would just like play as I would play it in the other view. So instead of like having it time-based, I have it now clickable, and that allows me to easily swap parts. So for example, I could try if the arrangement improves if I move those two parts, and then the energy level is maybe more into a consistent direction. And that's pretty cool. But it doesn't stop there. You can also then take all the elements here, which you have now isolated. It's all the kind of like good melodies and good riffs, which you already have in your track. And then I just move them here to the top line. So you can see this one is up here and this one is up here. And here I have even a second one from like another part down here. And then you can recombine them as I have shown in that arrangement tutorial video, which I will link up here. And you can make new parts which didn't exist before. So you create new options for your arrangement, which you didn't have in your initial arrangement. And so you have maybe better parts than if you just would add new elements. Yo, if you want to level up your music production skills and want to get release ready, I have a new course for you in which I will teach you everything I know about my production. And I promise you, a few years ago my music wasn't as good as it is now, so I was so far from like charting anywhere, but I developed a kind of like system and workflow which helps me to make really good tracks, and I want to teach you exactly how I do it in the most simple way. And if you want to go with me and improve your music and level up and get to the next stage, then you can click the link above here or in the description box below. But I didn't stop with just like recombining the old elements or changing the order of the arrangement, because I knew there was a lack in the arrangement, because I had a lack of good elements as well. So what you can do here, you are still very limited by kind of like all the ideas you have in the old project. So what I did was I bounced out my kick and bass, and I bounced out my drums, and I removed everything else from the project besides like my synths. And then I had like a new blank canvas with like low latency, so I can jam, and whenever I hit a note it really plays at that moment. And I also got rid of all those concepts and ideas I have from the other track. I wanted to have like a fresh mind and a fresh start. And what I did, I was just walking through some banks I have, mostly from this TuneCraft bank. I'm really glad that they donated it me for the purpose of this video, and also for like finishing my track here. And I basically did this. I went through all the presets and looked what inspired me. So I literally put in the first preset, jammed like MIDI to it, the second one jammed MIDI, the third, and so on. I skipped a few which I didn't like so much from the sound, but that's mainly what I did. And I created like a lot of like new lead lines, new riffs, new melodies, which I then later can utilize in my arrangement. And even though like a lot of them didn't make it into the final track, I have like new options which can create powerful parts. And with those kind of like elements, I could also spice up old parts. So that concept I call like a breakout session. I already explained it in another tutorial as well. But the idea is that you basically have freed your mind and have like a blank start. And then you create like a lot of elements, like in the brainstorm phase we usually do. And those elements then you can drag over into the other project again. So let's just listen through a few of them. So I have more background stuff, but I also have some of those which kind of like, I think this one became like a main thing in the new arrangement. So once I had this finished, I jumped back to the project where I consolidated everything. If you like this video so far, then please leave me a comment. Leave me a comment when you get stuck the last time in that track and how you solved it. Maybe you have another cool technique, another cool workflow, or maybe you just find this technique cool and you have applied it. Let me know in the comments. Let me also know if you have any cool suggestions for topics or more. And then once you're back into your old project, then everything you need to do is you need to open the project here. So you can do this, for example, by adding a folder here in your user library in which you have all the projects. Then you navigate to the project, you open everything, the version, for example, here the Breakout Brainstorm, and then you click here on your leads and you drag it into the project. It takes a while until it copies it over there, but then once you have it in there, then you have like the whole brainstorm you did from your breakout session back into your project, and then you can start like doing new arrangement blocks with the old elements, with the new elements. You can even keep parts from the old arrangement as we have stored them here on the right side. You add some new ones, and in the end you should have more options than you have before, and you can easily combine them because it's not everything so connected as before, and it's not all limiting you as much as before. So you have a new fresh vibes and new fresh ideas in that, and that can really level up your whole track. If you want to know more about arrangement, I have a full playlist here which you can watch next, where you find also videos about brainstorming and how to track out the track.